All right, back on the John Deere Gator, we're going to replace the boot and we're going to replace the tie rod ends. There's the boot that gets replaced. And there's the tie rod end. Okay, for today's project on the John Deere, we had talked about it. I ordered the parts. We got 2 of the tie rod ends. The part number is AM121758. The price of those are $27.85 each for a total of $55.70. And the next part there is $14.03. And that is the boot. And I have no idea what I'll be using this wire for, but I guess it's something you have to use. I'm not sure. It was all in the packaging. And there is the lockdown for right there. That's 1403. And that part number is AM140845. And on a separate ticket was the lock nuts for the tie rod ends here. So, all right, we'll get started here in a few minutes. So this order is $73.37. Back on the Gator, we're going to finish part 2 of the front end rebuild. We'll be adding the tie rod ends and the boot, and we're going to do an alignment using the center of the tires, front to the back, and we're going to try to get that as best we can. Let's get started. First thing we're going to do, lift this baby back up off the ground. I had it down so that way in the event it fell off of the jack, it didn't damage anything. First thing we have to do is get this tie rod end off. I'm going to leave this nut on, and that way I can thump it without damaging the threads and break that loose. On the initial glance, it looks like part of the boot is missing on the boot I got. So if somebody had opened it up, yeah. So I may not be able to finish that one, which does not make me happy. And now I have to go back to the John Deere and we have to take this nut off. This thing's all busted up anyway. They had this one put on with a wire tie. This thing's full of trash. That was not good. Wow, look at that. Yeah, this one's on with a wire tie. I need to clean this up. I can go ahead and use a wire tie. Turning the steering wheel to the other direction. That's what I was trying to see. I need to fill this up with grease. Okay, I'm going to turn the steering wheel back in. Okay, it looks like if I turn much more than that, it's going to spill the grease we just put in. The boot comes with this wire thing here. And I'm going to use that to pull it over this edge. And then I'll be able to pull it out. Make everything go smooth. I need to keep all the grease that I can in there. I'm pulling the wire out. I'm gonna put this wire tie on it. Now I need to tighten it. I'm gonna cut it shorter, but I'm not gonna cut it completely off just yet. I wanna make sure everything's good. Next up is putting the tie rod in. I'm gonna turn the steering wheel so it comes out past here so we can see it easier. For this part, we are gonna use some anti-seize just to put on the threads here. What's up, puppy dog? We got Stella Girl helping today. There's the new one with the cap off. And we have to remember our lock nut right here. That was on there before. Oh, something I almost forgot. We still have to put this on our boot, and that goes here, so we remember that just in time. Right there. Lock on. Glad we remember that before we got everything back together. All right, and putting anti-seize. It just makes it easier to come apart in the future. So this is just a do your future self a favor piece right here. It does make a mess on your hands. Right in there is about where the old one was, somewhere in that range. I'm gonna spray a little WD down here. Well, hello, baby girl. I'm gonna put the nut on here.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, you're wearing a ballerina dress. It's so pretty.
Yeah, I don't like this thing on it.
We've got that one on. Now we can go to the other side. All right, we're on the other side. We're just gonna throw a little anti-seize on here. Spinning the new tie rod end on. Put a little WD down here. Again, putting the lock nut on, but not going to tighten it down super tight. Gonna throw the tires on and start working on making sure it's aligned. These don't have tapered bearings, so you have to lift there's a spacer in the center. You put the screwdriver in and help maneuver that around. There we go. I'm not going to put the bolt tight, I'm just going to snug it up a little bit. This wheel is slightly out, I think. Oh, I have to bring them together some. These are new tires, so you can measure the center line. .51 3/8. And then measure the center line of the back. 49 1/8. So this Gator is all whacked out. I can step back and see that it's trying to drive two different directions for sure. I screwed this one here on farther, so I'll take that one off first. And we just had this setting here a little bit. I'll take this off, turn to 3 turns. Let's see what 3 turns does for us. Oh man, it's hot still. Let's get another measurement. Put it together, get another measurement. This just has to be repeated several times till we get it right. .50 3/4. 49 15/16. Still have to bring them out. I'll bring this side out this time. Can you tell how hot it is out here? Oh, a breeze is coming. Nice. That helps. Breeze is gone. It's getting hot again. 50 9/16. 50 1/8. So I do need to do that one extra turn. .50 7/16. 50 3/8. So it's still towed out a tiny bit. To dial it in closer, instead of turning around on the tie rod end, I'm going to turn just the control arm. I'm going to take the boot holder off. I'm going to put it back here. That way I can turn this. Okay, it's towed out, so we need to pull this one out. It spins easy enough. .50 3/8 inches. 50 3/8. That is extremely close. There. I'm gonna lock it down. I also have to put the lock hold down for the boot. There we go. All right, I'll do one last measurement now that we have everything locked down. 50 3/8. 50 3/8. Perfect. Last thing, just tighten down the wheel bearing lockdowns. Put the cover on. Oh, and I'll pick up tools. That concludes this video. I've got the jacks off. Steering's nice and tight. But this job is not a quick job. The video is going to be cut down to make it presentable, but this job took over 2 hours and it's extremely hot. So just keep that in mind. This isn't no 30-minute job. This job takes a while if you want to do it right. You want it aligned. If you don't align it, it's going to flop around on the road. You'll have more weight on one wheel when you're turning this direction. If you turn that, it'll jump to that one and it'll be all squirrely. You want the steering nice and tight if you want to do it right, but just be aware, it It's not super easy. It's definitely doable, but it does take a little longer than I was anticipating. So that boot was hard to get on. It took longer than expected. It took me more tries on aligning than I was expecting. It took several tries. So you've seen most of them, but there was a spot where my phone had turned off, and so there was a couple more in there of taking the wheel off, adjusting the tie rod ends. So anyway, the job's done. I'm about to take it for a ride. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Man, it drives better. It really does. End result is really good. New tie rod ends, new front end bushings, greased up. I'll keep it greased. End result, thumbs up. Do your future self a favor. Use WD-40, plenty of grease. Clean it up before you put it back together and use new parts. And you'll have yourself a good John Deere Gator. Many more videos to come. John Deere Gators always need some attention. Until next time.